breaking Thor 5 official announcement. Chris Hemsworth. Let's see what this is all about. Check this out.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka All Fighters. Now, while I would argue Marvel Phase 4 had some very high points and some very low points, most people are on the same side of the fence when it comes to their reaction to Thor 4 Love and Thunder. Unfortunately, that was one of the films during Phase 4 that definitely fell the shortest in anticipation from the fans of what we thought that movie would be. And of course, when you do a movie featuring Thor the God Butcher and you don't actually see him butcher any gods, well, that movie had a ton of problems and from the ground up. And since then, Chris Hemsworth has been rather vocal about what the problems were and what he'd have to see change for Thor 5. Well, breaking today from one of the most trusted industry insider sources, everybody's favorite anonymous Twitter scoopster, My Time to Shine, hello, Thor 5 is in development at Marvel Studios.
Wow.
We're going to break down exactly what they said about Taika Waititi directing, what Taika Waititi said about what he'd want to see from Thor 5's villain. We'll also delve back into the comments from Chris Hemsworth about what he would need from Thor 5 and how that bodes well for what the storyline in this movie may be. We're breaking it all down, the bombshell that Thor 5 is in development at Marvel Studios. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is right around the corner to coincide with Loki. If you want to be entered to win again, all you got to do, be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this broke earlier today from the anonymous Twitter scoopster, My Time to Shine, hello, one of the most trusted industry insiders. So while I tell you guys to take this stuff with a grain of salt, they have quite the track record over the last 2 or 3 years. This is what they had to say, quote, Thor 5 is in development at Marvel Studios, and unfortunately, there's a good chance Taika Waititi will direct, but it's not a done deal. Now, I don't think that's fair. Taika Waititi made one real stinker in Thor 4, but he also resurrected the franchise with Thor Ragnarok, and arguably there wouldn't have been a Thor Love and Thunder if Ragnarok wasn't as good as it was. Also, Taika Waititi has quite the filmography. He has made some amazing films, so while Thor Love and Thunder had its problems, I believe he can learn from that, especially in the response from the fandom, and I totally believe in him to make a good Thor 5 if it should be confirmed that he's directing this film. That being said, both he and Chris Hemsworth have talked about the possibility of Thor 5, and today it was actually just revealed what Taika Waititi was thinking about the villain for this film, as reported via Cinema Blend, quote, this is what he had to say about a Thor 5 villain. What is left for him to do? It's got to be something that feels like it's carrying on the evolution of the character, but still in a very fun way, that's still giving him things to come up against that feel like they're building on the obstacles that he has to overcome. I don't think we can have a villain that's weaker than Hela. I feel like we need to step up from there and add a villain that's somehow more formidable, which, hey man, you had Gore the God Butcher. If you had done that film right, Gore definitely could have been that villain, but we'll have to keep our hopes up again that the lessons have been learned. Now, speaking of which, Chris Hemsworth has also been very vocal, especially in the last 2 or 3 months, with multiple quotes about what was wrong with Thor 4 and what he would need as a condition to return for Thor 5. And this is what he said most recently. I've got to be careful how I word that because I have no idea what's happening in the next phase. There's always conversations, but before anything is official, people are throwing around ideas. But officially, I don't know. I don't want to continue to do it until people are so exhausted that they roll their eyes when they see me come on screen as Thor. If the audience wants to see it, and if there's something that I believe in is exciting and fun, then great. I've loved being able to reinvent the character, but I don't want to answer that yet. I would love to try and figure out how we can do it again and keep it a little unpredictable. This in response to if you even want to come back, and that unpredictable quote also pertains to some earlier things he said about Thor literally having lost his mind during Thor Love and Thunder, and that if he'd come back, he'd want to see a more serious tone or something different for that character. All this added up in knowing that where we are in the multiverse saga sort of features Kang as the big bad, knowing he wants a more powerful villain. I'm not saying that Kang would naturally be the villain of Thor 5, but you'd have to imagine Kang would have a huge part. Where I think this all plays into the multiverse saga is making it sort of a Thor versus Hercules film, bringing Hercules back from the post-credit scene of Thor Love and Thunder, you know, enemies become friends, friends become enemies type thing, where they may start off as foes at the beginning of the film, they're reconciled, and then that leads back into the formation of this quote-unquote new Avengers team, which has been at the forefront of the recent comments from Bob Iger. We've talked about here at the channel in the last week or so when it was announced that Disney Plus may be going away from the 6-episode major $200 million budget Marvel show. One of the things Bob Iger says is if you look at the success from the Infinity Saga and in the past, it was leading through the Avengers films, and that they would start to refocus on that. It would be a new set of Avengers, but that they would focus on leading to the Avengers franchise. A Thor 5 could and would be an excellent place to revisit the God side of what's going on in the multiverse, and again, bring Hercules into the fold as we lead into a more cosmic / God side of the Avengers team, where we know they'll have an Earth-based squad through Sam Wilson, Captain America, but this is a whole different level and power set. Again, all these characters, the more the merrier, before we get to Secret Wars. Speaking of which, some of the rumors we've heard recently about Doctor Strange 3, now Thor 5, definitely seems to be a more recent update for what Marvel was going to do with these films. But as I've argued, there's only so much real estate and only so much time for them to put these films into pre-development. And I'm not talking about the delays from the strike, I'm just talking about where they've placed Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars on the calendar in 2026 and 2027 respectively. It's already 2023. If this is just now going into pre-development, they have to write a full script, get everybody hired, get this all scheduled out, which means they probably wouldn't start filming. And again, I'm putting the strikes aside. I'm assuming those aren't going on right now because everything is if and when until the strikes are done. But it's possible they wouldn't start filming on something like this until the beginning of 2025, which could line it up for a 2026 or 2027 release, but that's right around when they'll start shooting Secret Wars, Kang Dynasty, and they've got to have a lot of stuff figured out for what's going on in these films before they can finish those stories, which has always had me wondering what in the world Jeff Loveness and Michael Waldron were even writing if these other films hadn't been done yet. We hadn't even heard about a Doctor Strange 3 or Thor 5 until real recently, which really begs the question just how much damage, quote unquote, they could do on those scripts before knowing what the other stories would hold or where they would play out. So I'm thinking there's a lot going on in the shifting of what they're doing for Secret Wars, and basically this is a long way of me saying Secret Wars may be even further out than we thought, and I wouldn't be surprised if it moves again until, say, 2028, 2029. What do you know, that would just happen to be the 10-year anniversary for Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below as far as Thor 5 goes. What exactly would you want to see out of this film, and who would you pick as the villain? I am all ears as always, and guys, I gotta be honest, I am excited about this. Regardless of what happened with Thor Love and Thunder, I'm glad they might give them a chance to redeem themselves, them being basically Taika Waititi. Again, I'm all ears. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, we are still giving away PlayStation 5s here at the channel. The next one is for Loki, then we'll have one for Echo, one for the Marvels, so that's 3 more before the end of the year. If you want to be entered to win, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. Best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name is Michael Roman. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at @I'mFires. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.
Please subscribe, like this video. Have a great day, and see you guys. Bye.